All right, I'm back, and we are talking to Ted Mattingly today. Ted is our technology guru. He has spent his time while we're over drilling in the mouth and fixing teeth. He's been learning all the technology that can make us better so that we can have a more efficient workflow and produce better results. So, Ted, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, give us a little background, and then we're going to jump into some questions.
Yeah, so I'm a sales guy. That's how I started my career. And I've been in dental now, I guess, going on 8 years. And I've had a very unique path in dental. I'm absolutely obsessed with this space. I love, in particular, the part of the space in dental that I'm in, which is the technology, because I meet people certainly that have been in the industry for much longer than I have, but I always make the joke that yes, while I have been in 7+ years, may not seem long to some, but in technology, it's that's dog years, right? So it's forever changing. I've seen so many improvements with technology as far as like what it can capture, how it grows revenue for their practices, and two, how it retains and helps your current employees at the practices. It gets people excited because everybody gets to get involved. So it's been quite the journey. I started with Thin Supply back in 2016 ish. And
Yeah.
I dove straight in, was part of the CEREC world, did a lot of chairside stuff, consumables, milling, same day dentistry, implants, surgical guides, you name it, and expanded on that into my next role with a different company in the industry, which is Align Technology. So another big name. So that was a great experience because I got to see the ortho side of the practice, but I even more than that for me, I got to play with iTero. So I went over there with the expectations like nothing's better than Prime Scan, and which Prime Scan is great. Don't get me wrong, I still love Prime Scan, but iTero is great too,
Right.
right? So there was a lot of good things about iTero that I learned, and I got to see it firsthand how it changed people's lives and practices. So that was cool. Um, and then I've also had the unique experience
Absolutely.
now. I'm at Straumann, Neodent Straumann, and I get to play with trios now. And of course, everybody knew trios beforehand, right? And I had to sell against it often. I heard all about it. I knew plenty about it, but really hadn't like dove in. Hadn't really had the chance to be hands on with the piece of equipment like I have today. And now I can confidently say that there is a place for all three of those scanners in practices if it meets your needs. So it's been again a whirlwind since I got into this space, but I wouldn't trade it. I love what I do.
Awesome. So technology, it is like dog years. 7 years in technology is an insane amount of time when we know that it's changing so rapidly.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. So you've touched all the scanners, it seems like, or the major
Yeah.
ones, and you're in practices every day. What are some pitfalls that you see when it comes to technology? So you go into a practice and you see something used, and you look around and you're like, oh, the scanner is now fill in the blanks.
This scanner is collecting dust, or this scanner is a coat rack. um, I think the thing that I've noticed in my time in this space in particular is a large portion of the people that I work with will put too much emphasis on price and trying to get the lowest or the best price. And they don't necessarily look at the service side of things. So when I first got into the space, the market wasn't as saturated as it is today with different types of scanners. I feel like I'm seeing different scanners. Like I hear of a new one almost every other month. It feels like that somebody else is trying out or they purchased from another reseller. But the one thing I would say to people, the biggest watch out when you're looking at equipment in general, scanners, mills, CBCT, software even, is make sure that a part of that deal you're asking the right questions, which is what does the implementation of this technology look like in my practice after I purchase this from you? Are you going to be responsible for looking up YouTube videos to ensure that you're training your staff and yourself, or is someone going to be on site and also maybe a mix with that some virtual trainings too? If you're going to be responsible for learning everything on your own, there's some people that are certainly good at that and can pick up on it right away. But I would say, from what I've seen, the vast majority benefit from in person training. So, whether that's the rep that's actually selling the equipment themselves or an actual trainer that comes in addition to virtual training. So I like to think of those three scanners, those three companies that I just mentioned that I've had the pleasure of working for really up to this point as top tier because they do have a mix of both service, training, and obviously a great product. So that would be my big watch out.
Yeah. So watching out is making sure that you get a good service package,
Perfect.
a good training package. Other pitfalls that you see when you walk into a practice and you see technology, but it's not being used. What what's that tell you? I mean, you're the guru here.
Honestly, for me, that tells me that it hasn't been implemented correctly into the practice. When I think of technology, especially the technology today, and all of the patient-facing software that they all now pretty much have, if we aren't utilizing that in the total practice, and maybe a doctor scanning himself, that's a miss to me. If the assistants and the staff aren't involved in utilizing not only the piece of equipment right in front of them, but also utilizing the other benefits of the equipment and software, whether it's an app or something they can pull up online to access for consultations or to help with insurance or to help finalize the deal up front, whatever that may look like. If I'm not seeing the equipment used to that degree, then to me that's red flags. That's like, hey, doctor, you spent this money and you're not seeing your full ROI.
Right. So you're basically saying if I walk into the practice and I see the doctors, the only one using the
Red
scanner
flag.
or the piece of technology, big red
Absolutely.
flag. That means we didn't train the team well. We didn't do a great job at implementing across the board. And we're actually losing money because we can do
Mm-hmm.
better. We can have more ROI when the whole team's on
Yep.
board. So I love that. I think that's super important for anybody who's getting ready to buy technology is to really have that plan. What are we going to do,
Mm-hmm.
team? Like notify your team, hey, this is what we're about to do. I'm about to buy this piece of
Yep.
technology. I want to see it implemented. Here's my expectations. Here's what we're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a little pre-game planning is super important.
Absolutely.
That way it's not the shock and awe. What are some, so you've seen some pitfalls. You see the doctor using the device only, or you see it collecting dust. Anything else that you see that's just a common uh, pitfall that you see walking into a practice?
Uh, they're still using impression material. I mean, that's a big one.
So when we're not
Yeah,
all in, when we're only halfway in,
yeah.
we're half in and half
And
out.
usually, again, that comes
Okay.
down to training, or not taking the training to the next level. Let's just say if there's a tier one, there's a tier two for advancing your trainings, and you stuck and stopped at tier one. Well, there's still tier two. I'm working with a group practice. There's 5 of them, and in Q1 they had $37,000 spend in impression material, and they have a scanner
Oh,
in their
wow.
office. And I was like, whoa, 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 what are we doing here? And again,
You're just playing with the scanner at that point.
100%, and without mentioning any names of the scanners or anything out there,
Sure.
but yeah, that's, I mean, essentially, again, it goes back to the story in the beginning, which is they bought the scanner and they were told to watch YouTube videos, and it didn't work out, and it just sat there, and there was a huge missed opportunity for this practice. So they have the investment initially on the scanner itself, and then they're also still spending $37,000 in impression material last quarter. Can you
Wow.
believe that? Yeah.
Wow.
So again, I think that's why that might be more valuable, in my opinion, in the negotiating phase of purchasing equipment than the price itself.
Is
Mm-hmm.
help me get this implemented
Yeah,
properly so that we can achieve the results that was part of the
right.
pitch of getting rid of the impression material or having more opportunity in the practice to talk about
Mm-hmm.
dentistry. I know that we see many team members not using the technology. You talked about that, but even more than that, not excited about what that technology can do. If they are
Yep.
using it, they might be using it, but it's like, oh, yeah, this is what I
Yeah.
do. Where there's an opportunity to have that really great patient
Mm-hmm.
conversation with every patient walking in the door. So that's a huge missed opportunity there is just the conversation that comes
Absolutely.
from it.
Yeah, and Holly, you're spot on. If I see an office, and I'm going to focus on a specific part of the office. If I go into a hygiene office, or excuse me, the hygiene side of the practice, um, and I see people using mirrors or taking pictures and then putting it up on the TV screen as stills. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? You know, because nothing is more powerful than something you can touch and see yourself. And when you have a 3D model on a screen that the patient invite them to touch the screen with you, or you as the hygienist, or even the dental assistant, even that you can manipulate, zoom in, show wear, show gum recession, show bite. I like to call it bite registrations. So it isn't necessarily measuring the bite forces necessarily on these scanners, but it is showing the distance between the teeth. And by looking at those types of things, we can pretty much determine like why this said patient is grinding or wearing their teeth, or how their teeth are misaligned. And those are such basic conversations that during trainings, I'll speak for myself, that I go into, and I can sit chairside with a patient and have myself. I'm not certainly selling any type of treatment or telling they need to have this now, but I'm just making them aware of what the software is telling me, right? We're just
It's more co-discovery.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now think
Yeah.
about a handoff to the doctor and what that's going to do for them, right? What does that conversation sound like? Hey, doctor, they're,
Yeah. We love mirrors.
yeah,
We love mirrors. We love photos. We love all of those things are great tools. But now that we have this level of technology, that we can step into a preventive scan or a wellness scan during a hygiene visit and really set the tone for the practice of how our practice has elevated over the years, but how it's different than many other
yeah.
practices. And then looking at your teeth in that fashion, the 3D way, I mean, mind
Mm-hmm.
blowing. For you that as a sales rep that can do this sitting in a chair without an enormous amount of clinical
Oh,
experience, imagine the opportunity if there was a hygienist or an assistant that had the clinical knowledge, and then you put this digital technology in their hand. What's going to happen? I think that is just so powerful and rewarding as a team member to be able to discuss the whole mouth and look around
mm-hmm.
together. I mean, that's like level 3 stuff that
Yeah.
if you can just get it implemented, get it trained on, get rid of the old crazy impression material, and then take it to another level where we're in the world of prevention and wellness. Let's plan together your future. That's a whole nother level for a
Yep,
practice.
and you're spot on. That is like some next level. We'll call it tier two stuff there that I was just bringing up. But I think most importantly, in the beginning, it's just about getting people comfortable. People are. It's a natural human instinct to be uncomfortable with something new, whether it's you get a new iPhone or a new TV. I don't know, and they got all these different apps and things you got to select, and you're like, I don't know what all this is. I wish it was like the old way. Um, but little do they know, if they just implement it and just do it, it's so much easier. Their lives will get easier. The conversations with their patients are going to get more in depth. The conversation with the patient even is going to be more enjoyable because the patient itself is going to
Right.
enjoy the conversation and seeing their teeth up close and personal. Um, so I think initially when you purchase your scanner, you got to, from the top down, it's got to be a goals list. There's got to be some accountability um, whiteboard, if you will, that this is our goal for this week, this many scans by this person or this part of the practice, and we're going to reach this by the end of the month. Now, I've seen it work really well.
So that's some
Incentivize too.
Yeah, so that's some tips for implementation. Let's go
Yeah.
there. Ted is, let's make this super valuable for anybody listening or watching. Is give us a couple tips that you absolutely encourage your offices for implementation to make this fun, to make this go. You've been doing this a long time. So, what are some good tips that you've seen work or that you absolutely spearhead?
Yep. So, again, we're going back to purchased the scanner, we unboxed it, you asked all the right questions in the negotiation phase, and you made sure that that local rep and or trainer, someone's going to be there to help you live. I think that is absolutely important. So you go through the basics, right? We don't got to bite off the or chew the whole sandwich at once, right? Let's just have a corner of it.
Right.
So initially I'm going to make sure that they feel comfortable navigating the software on just the basics. And then when I
Okay.
leave my trainings, I make sure that the goals are set in place, that each person is going to scan themselves anywhere from 2 to 5 times, at minimum
Oh,
two to
wow.
five
So,
times. And the
first, good training. Next tip, make sure they can navigate the
correct.
software. Then the next one is scanning
100%.
yourself, 3 to 5, 3 to 5 times. That's super
So
exciting because you get the feel of what the scanner does and how it
because there is
works.
an adjustment,
Okay,
right? You have a wand, and
keep
you'll see a
going.
lot of people looking in the mouth, and because that's what they're used to doing with their instruments. But with the scanning, it is a little bit different, but it's something you just got to get used to, and by doing it on yourself, right? Then you're forced to look at the screen so that you can monitor and see what you're scanning. So I think that's a very, very important part of the process. And then from there, I have them scan each other, right? Again, to
Okay,
get
so
comfortable.
now we're into scan each other. So
Exactly. Yes. So I've seen people do that differently. They've incorporated in some of the morning meetings, or maybe at the end of the day. Lunch tends to be a good hour because then everybody can see the lettuce or whatever cheese they have on their teeth.
yeah,
But so
absolutely.
absolutely do that, and then from there we have to start picking patients. So because we still feel a little uneasy, right? The staff still feels a little uneasy. Maybe
Right.
Susan in hygiene has never scanned anybody in her life, never even thought about scanning anyone in her life. So what we do is we look at the following week, and we pick patients that we know they have relationships, or the office has relationships with, and that way it's an easier conversation to say, "Hey, I'm going to try something new today. It's really cool. This technology is sweet. You'll love it," and they'll have an opportunity to scan the patient there that they already have a relationship with. So then you get over the humps of like this fear of like the patient's gonna know that I don't know what I'm doing, and the
Right.
reality of it is
The hesitancy, the internal, I can't,
yes.
that's kicking
So
in.
that's
Yes, that's
that's
good.
week
So
one.
we're picking
One patient
patients.
a day. You pick one
Okay.
patient a day that you're comfortable with scanning. It could be
Okay.
morning or afternoon, doesn't matter. So the second, yeah,
Fantastic.
then we fall into the second week, and then we start to amp that up a little bit. We were just doing one patient a day. Now we're doing two. So the second week we do one in the morning on the schedule that we pick that we think would be a good person to scan, and then we're going to do one in the afternoon too. Um,
So if I had 6 people on my team, by week 1, I'm doing, 6 scans a day. By week 2, I'm at 12 scans a
mhm,
day. This is going
absolutely.
somewhere. Like this is the pickup of implementation. So now I'm at 2 scans a day. So everybody on my team scanning 2 people, and we're getting a little bit more used to it.
Mhm.
We're getting in the routine and the rhythm. Now where do I
So
go?
I can promise you this: after 2 weeks of doing that, and then when we make it into the second week where we're scanning two people a day, you will be comfortable by then. It's going to sound
Yeah.
absurd, but and some people are like, "No way, I'm not going to be ready." You'll be ready. Like by then, you've kind of worked through some of the kinks. You've started to have some of those conversations. You're going to realize real quick that you don't necessarily have to be the leader of the conversation, chair side. That the
Right.
patients are asking questions. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize my tooth was that more like I didn't realize I was missing that much tooth, or all these things just start getting
Yeah.
brought up organically, and then it just becomes this easier thing that they're having conversations on stuff that they're already good talking about anyway. So week three is where we actually start to set monthly objectives, or goals, I should say, monthly goals. I mean, you can break that down, of course,
Yeah.
however tailored to your needs, but I like monthly, and then we incentivize folks. Does that mean your local rep takes everybody out to happy hour? Does that mean they bring in lunch for a couple times one week, or fill the fridge? We used to do. We called it fill the fridge. You hit your goals. They would put together a grocery list for me, and then I would go to the grocery store and fill their fridge. Right. But you just do these little things, add a little
Awesome.
extra rate, and then I've also seen it too on the doctor side where they'll actually incentivize the staff with a dollar amount too. So that will really
Yeah.
get people scared.
We've had many scan offs
Yeah.
in our trainings just to have best
Mm-hmm.
scanner award that we would give out at the monthly meeting for whoever's checked out and walked out the most scans for the month. So gets prizes. We've seen uh, number games when we're working to get our scans under those 7 minute
Yep.
marks, those 5 minute marks, those 3 minute marks, whatever the marks are with that
Mm-hmm.
scanner. That once you get your scans under that number, there's a prize. So there's lots of rewards and lots of ways to implement for sure. But getting everyone involved is the key piece.
Absolutely.
Like you can't walk in the door and be like, surprise,
Yeah.
we've got this new piece of technology. There's a little bit more that you want to prepare for so that your team is on board letting them know so that they feel like they're a part of that whole planning to get this new technology that everybody feels involved and a part of. So these are great tips. If you could leave us with anything about technology, what would it be? Give us some technology tips in general.
Um, Everybody in the office should be involved. And what I mean by that is
Okay.
the hygienists to the dental assistants to our front desk ladies or guys. Everybody should know at least the basics of what we're doing in the back because there is a huge ROI once we have everybody involved. That to me is the biggest
So
lesson.
you're saying really,
Yeah,
but you're saying really, even your administrators should
absolutely.
be able to scan. Like this technology is that easy. So get administrators can pick up a scanner and be able to scan as well and be involved in this.
Ted,
So your old insurance coordinator sitting in the
yeah,
back, she too can scan.
absolutely. Hey, Ted, we're too busy in the back. We're
Awesome.
slammed. We had emergency patients come in. Somebody called out sick. But I know this patient in here wants or could benefit from. I don't know. We'll use ortho for example.
Yeah,
Gosh, we're not going to see her again for another 6 months. But no, Becky up front can take a quick scan on said patient,
that's
and
awesome.
during the consultation or when doctor comes into that op, can look at the scan quickly and determine, hey, I noticed that your bite is uneven. I see that you're wearing down the front of your teeth. Have you thought about properly aligning your teeth? Right. So there's
Yeah.
just so much great conversations that can come from that, and that's just the ortho part of it, right? But ortho can lead into restorative, and now we're talking about putting together some really comprehensive treatment plans too. So, um,
So ultimately, we're
yeah,
talking total team
hmm,
process, including administrators.
absolutely,
We're talking evaluate what do you want your scanner to
correct.
do, what all, because there's different types of scanners used for different things, and everybody has their pros and their
Right.
cons. But make sure you know overall your end
Yeah.
goal of where are you going, what all do I want to implement. Are you a practice that's heavy removables, are you heavy ortho? Those all help. Are you going to do same day
Hmm.
crowns? Those are all buying factors of what type of scanner that you
Hmm.
want. What if you want it to talk to labs, not talk to labs? I mean, there's a lot of things going on there these days. So that's two. Give me something else. A tip
I
for
would just,
any doctor thinking about putting technology in.
yeah, absolutely. Another big one, and I love being unbiased with Holly. I've told you in the past that my favorite part about working with Holly and her clients is I get to be unbiased because most of the time, the office isn't in my territory anyways. But in a perfect world, I would sell Seric Prime Scan and, or excuse me, Seric, Itero, and Trios. But I think it's very important to get an unbiased opinion because I mean I'm guilty of this. I've been in sales. I like to think I'm a lot better about it now. But it's very important to get an unbiased opinion on the technology that you're investing in because it is the manufacturer's job to train the sales reps to tell them that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's the reps that are supposed to sell you on the fact that this is the dream, right? And this works for everybody and the
Right.
best thing in the world. But the truth is, now that I've kind of seen all the worlds, that depending on where you are today and where you're looking to go, and a budget, that could be a thing too. It's really beneficial to make sure that you get an open-minded person that you get to speak to that can say unbiasedly, based on what you've told me, doctor, based on where you want to go and where you plan to be, I think this is a solution for you. So I'd maybe pin that one up there as almost as close as making sure that the customer service and training is incorporated. Very
Yeah,
important.
that's awesome
Mhm.
tips. So, Ted, if anybody wants to get a hold of you for an unbiased opinion or they just have some technology questions, how can they get a hold of you?
Pretty easy. I'm always by my phone. But the some easy ways for me would be to hop on LinkedIn. You can look me up. It's simply Ted Mattingly, TED Mattingly. Happy to respond on there and connect with anyone. And then also, too, another really easy way is through my work email, which is ted.mattingly@neodent.com. So Neodent is NEODENT.com. But that would probably be the best
Fabulous.
ways.
So, Absolutely. So if you need to get a hold of Ted, you got some technology questions, you need that unbiased opinion, reach out. He's happy to share his technology tips with you. But most of all, the most important thing is implement technology. Don't get left
Yep,
behind. The world's going fast, and these scanners and 3D printers and mills are all it's the space we're
hmm
at. It's where we're at these days.
absolutely.
So get on
That's
board,
right.
right? All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, Ted, for coming on. I appreciate
Holly,
you.
pleasure always. Thank you so much.